Hey, Sheila. Good morning. Good afternoon. Hey, everybody coming in. Hey, Liz Pope, one of my members. Nope, we're not doing this. Come on. Come on. Hey, everybody. Hey, Allison Walker, another member. Hey, Tracy. Y'all say hey to Tracy. She's one of my moderators. Y'all, everybody's talking about this press conference that Donald Trump and Elon Musk gave. I have to watch it. And so since I have to watch it, I figured there would be some people that want to watch it with me because we're stronger together. We're strong. Hey, Bougie Barbie. Y'all say hey to Bougie Barbie. She's another one of my moderators. I figured we can have a good time watching this together. And the reason why I want to watch it, because I want to hear the nonsense, number one, from the horse's mouth. And number two, everybody is talking about. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? I'm just talking and I didn't even see if the audio was working. I hope the audio was working. Can y'all hear me? Okay. All right. Thank you. Everybody is talking about Elon Musk's son and how he cut a fool on Donald Trump. And I just want to see it for myself. I've seen clips where, people are saying what they think. Oh, I need to order one. What they think he's saying. And I want to, yeah, let's watch it. Plus, I'm still trying to find my footing. I'm still trying to get back into the swing of things of reporting what is going on. I'm having a hard time. Because it's like I've talked about all that is happening. I've already talked about it. Elon's little spawn. All right, let me hit play. It's enough of us in here. Let's hit play.
X, are you okay? This is X, and he's a great guy, high IQ. He's a high IQ individual.
And he's got this, I got this cool chain he's got.
So thank you very much. We had a busy day today. The king just left.
He's 4.
We've had a great discussion, terrific discussion concerning Gaza and everything else. We had discussions also about Saturday at 12 o'clock. It's going to be a big moment. We'll see what happens. I don't expect much happening with these people, but we'll see what happens. And we're going to be signing a very important deal today. It's Doge, and I'm going to ask Elon to tell you a little bit about it and some of the things that we found, which are shocking. Billions and billions of dollars in waste, fraud,
Who's this
and
in
abuse.
here telling me to stop eating?
And I think it's very important. And that's one of the reasons I got elected. I said, we're going to do that. Nobody had any idea it was that bad, that sick, and that corrupt. And it seems hard to believe that judges want to try and stop us from looking for corruption, especially when we found hundreds of millions of dollars worth, much more than that, in just a short period of time. And we want.
Okay. Kathy, one of my members, is stating that RFK has been confirmed. Baby, they all gonna be confirmed. I've said this long ago. That's why I haven't been talking about those people. They are all going to be confirmed. It's not shocking to me. Let me go back to hit the play button. But thank you for the update.
Want to weed out the corruption. And it seems hard to believe that a judge could say, we don't want you to do that. Well, so maybe we have to look at the judges, because that's a very serious, I think it's a very serious violation. I'll ask Elon Musk to say a few words, and we'll take some questions. Elon, go ahead.
Sure. So at a high level, you say, what is the goal of Doge and I think a significant part of.
Let me just say this. Who else was taken aback by the fact that this man stutters horribly? Who else was taken aback? I haven't really heard this man speak in length. So when I started seeing the clips of this man speaking, I was like, is everybody else hearing what I'm hearing? This man can speak the way that he speaks, but they talked shit about Joe Biden. This man, his speech impediment is worse than Joe Biden, but they had a lot to say about Joe Biden, and yet they're silent on this mofo right here. Somebody says it's the ketamine. Let me hit play.
The presidency is to restore democracy. This may seem like, well, are we in a democracy? Well, if you don't have a feedback loop, okay, we'd have to, if you sorry. So, tell you, gravitas can be difficult sometimes. If there's not a good feedback loop from the people to the government, and if you have rule of the bureaucrat, if the bureaucracy is in charge, and then what meaning does democracy actually have? If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy. We live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that we close that feedback loop, we fix that feedback loop, and that the public's elected representatives.
Wait a minute. This man is talking about democracy, and he's threatening any Republican congressman that if they don't go along with the program, he will pay to have them primaried. And yet this man is using this time to talk about democracy. Oh, Lord.
The president, the House, and the Senate decide what happens, as opposed to a large unelected bureaucracy. This is not to say that there aren't some good, there are good people who are in the federal bureaucracy, but you can't have an autonomous federal bureaucracy. You have to have one that's responsive to the people. That's the whole point of a democracy. And if you looked at this, if you asked the founders today and said, what do you think of the way things have turned out? Well, we have this unelected, fourth unconstitutional branch of government, which is the bureaucracy, which has, in a lot of ways, currently more power than any elected representative. And this is not something that people want, and it's not. It does not match the will of people. So it's just something we've got to.
Y'all didn't tell me that this man has the unmitigated fucking gall to be standing in the Oval Office lecturing Americans on democracy and unelected people and bureaucrats when he is an unelected individual who has taken over the government and is a bureaucrat, a robber baron, a corrupt thief, a welfare recipient, a welfare queen. All of his money comes from our government. Y'all didn't tell me he was this. What? Why did you? Wait. Okay. And this little kid is getting on my nerves.
We've got to fix. And then we've also got to address the deficit. So we've got a $2 trillion deficit.
Hey,
and
Ken.
if we don't do something
I'll
about this
say hey
deficit,
to Ken. He's
the country's
one of
going
my
bankrupt.
moderators.
I mean, it's
really
astounding that the interest payments alone on the national debt exceed the Defense Department budget, which is shocking because we spend a lot of money on defense. But if that just keeps going, we're essentially going to bankrupt the country. What I really want to say is, like,
this man is talking about the defense budget, and it's being reported. Did y'all see the video I did today? It's being reported that this mofo is coming up upon a $400 million contract to provide armored cyber trucks to the United States. And he wants to talk about our fucking budget? Everybody is talking about this kid. And I had a lot to say, and we ain't even got to what the kid did. What? Oh, Lord.
Like, it's not optional for us to reduce the federal expenses. It's essential.
Musk.
It's essential for America to remain solvent as a country. And it's essential for America to have the resources necessary to provide things to its citizens and not simply be servicing vast amounts of debt.
And also, could you mention some of the things that your team has found, some of the crazy numbers, including the woman that walked away with about 30 million?
The super chat.
Right.
Etc.
Well, we do find it sort of rather odd that there are quite a few people in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is, what happened at USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But they seem to be mysteriously, they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from?
You got wealthy.
And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it. So, we're looking at, say, if you look at, say, Treasury, for example, basic controls that should be in place, that are in place in any company, such as making sure that any given payment has a payment categorization code, that there is a comment field that describes the payment, and that if a payment is on the do not pay list, that you don't actually pay it. None of those things are true currently. So the reason that departments can't pass audits is because the payments don't have a categorization code. It's like just a massive number of blank checks just flying out the building. So you can't reconcile blank checks. You've got comment fields that are also blank, so you don't know why the payment was made. And then we've got this truly absurd, a do not pay list, which can take up to a year for an organization to get on a do not pay list. And this, we're talking about terrorist organizations, we're talking about known fraudsters.
Some of y'all are saying that Elon is using that baby as a human shield. Hey, tribal woman. Hey, Katrina. As a human shield. He's using his son as a human shield. To all of you that are saying that down in the comment section, I 100% agree. That's why the baby is up on his shoulders. I 100% agree with you. And I want y'all to remember all of this that he is saying that he's found, he has offered no proof. Hey, Mrs. Kiki. Y'all say hey to Mrs. Kiki. She's another one of my moderators. He's offered no proof. If you were going to come into this press conference, that desk, Donald Trump's desk, is clean. Where's your proof? Did you hand out stuff to the reporters to give them the proof to back up what it is that you're saying? Okay.
Known aspects of waste, known things that do not match any congressional appropriation can take up to a year to get on the list. And even once on the list is not used. It's mind-blowing. So what we're talking about here, we're really just talking about adding common sense controls that should be present, that haven't been present. So you say, like, well, how could such a thing arise? That seems crazy. When you understand that really everything is geared towards complaint minimization, so then you understand the motivations. So if people receive money, they don't complain, obviously. But if people don't receive money, they do complain. And the fraudsters complain the loudest and the fastest. So then when you understand that, then it makes sense. Oh, that's why everything just, they approve all the payments at Treasury. Because if you approve all the payments, you don't get complaints. But now we're saying that, no, actually, we are going to complain. If money is spent badly, if your taxpayer dollars are not spent in a sensible and frugal manner, then that's not okay. Your tax dollars need to be spent wisely on things that matter to the people. I mean, these things, like, it's just common sense. It's not draconian or radical. I think it's really just saying, let's look at each of these expenditures and say, is this actually in the best interest of the people? And if it is, it's approved. If it's not, we should think about it. So, there's crazy things like just cursory examination of Social Security, and we've got people in there that are 150 years old.
Oh,
now, do you know anyone who's 150? I don't. Okay. They should be on the Guinness Book of World Records. They're missing out. So, that's a case where, like, I think they're probably dead. It's my guess. Or they should be very famous, one of the two. And then there's a whole bunch of Social Security payments where there's no identifying information. Well, like, why is there no identifying information? Obviously, we want to make sure that people who deserve to receive Social Security do receive it, and that they receive it quickly and accurately. Also, another crazy thing. So, one of the things is, like, we are trying to sort of right-size the federal bureaucracy, just make sure that this. Obviously, there needs to be a lot of people working for the federal government, but not as many as currently. So we're saying, well, okay, let's, if people can retire, with full benefits and everything, that would be good. They can retire, get their retirement payments, everything. And then we were told, this is actually, I think, a great anecdote, because we were told the most number of people that could retire possibly in a month is 10,000. We're like, well, why is that? Well, because all the retirement paperwork is manual on paper. It's manually calculated, then written down on a piece of paper. Then it goes down a mine. And like, what do you mean a mine? Like, yeah, there's a limestone mine where we store all the retirement paperwork. And you look at a picture of this mine. We'll post some pictures afterwards. And this mine looks like something out of the 50s because it was started in 1955. So it looks like it's like a time warp. And then the speed, the limiting factor is the speed at which the mine shaft elevator can move determines how many people can retire from the federal,
baby, let Luigi out so he can take care of some other.
And the elevator breaks down and then sometimes, and then nobody can retire. Doesn't that sound crazy? There's like 1,000 people that work on this. So I think if we can take those people and say, like, you know what, instead of working in a mine shaft and carrying manila envelopes to boxes in a mine shaft, you could do practically anything else. And you would add to the goods and services of the United States in a more useful way. So anyway, so I think, that's an example. Like, at a high level, if you say, like, how do we increase prosperity, is we get people to shift from roles that are low to negative productivity to high productivity roles. And so you increase the total output of goods and services, which means that there's a higher standard of living available for everyone. That's the actual goal. Everyone's very quiet.
Everyone means millionaires and
So you want to people
billionaires.
only is quiet?
Your detractors, Mr. Musk.
I have to, what?
Including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way. What's your response to that criticism?
Well, first of all, you couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. The public voted, we have a majority of the public voting for President Trump. We won the House, we won the Senate. The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times, people that don't get what they voted for, but in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
Mr. Musk, the White House says that you will identify and excuse yourself from any conflicts of interest that you may have. Does that mean that you are in effect policing yourself? What are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency?
No. Well, we actually are trying to be as transparent as possible. In fact, we post our actions to the Doge handle on X.
He's being as transparent as possible, but he's given this press conference saying that he's found this, he's found that, and da-da-da-da-da-da, but he's not showing proof of what he's found. But yeah, he's being transparent as possible. So his word is what?
And to the Doge website. So all of our actions are maximally transparent. In fact, I don't think there's been, I don't know of a case where an organization has been more transparent than the Doge organization. So, and the kind of things we're doing are, I think, very, very simple and basic. They're not, what I mentioned, for example, about Treasury, just making sure that payments that go out, taxpayer money that goes out, is categorized correctly, that the payment is explained, that organizations on the do not pay list, which takes a lot to get there, that actually are not paid, which currently they are paid. These are not individual judgment decisions. These are about simply having sensible checks and balances in the system itself to ensure that taxpayer money is spent well. So it's got nothing to do with, like, say, a contract with some company of mine at all.
But if there is a conflict of interest when it comes to you yourself, for instance, you've received billions of dollars in federal contracts when it comes to the Pentagon, for instance, which the president, I know, has directed you to look into.
Yeah.
Are you policing yourself in that? Is there any sort of accountability check and balance in place that would provide any transparency for the American people?
Well, all of our actions are fully public. So if you see anything, you say, like, wait a second, hey, that seems like maybe that's,
If all of his actions were public, you remember when they started locking down all of these buildings, and all of the congressmen went to the U.S. aid office and they refused to let them in? How is that public? How is that, if what you're doing behind closed doors is available for everyone to see, then why didn't you let those congressmen and women into that building, Elon Musk? Now we know, hey, Aisha, now we know there is not going to be a follow-up question asking that. That should have been the follow-up question. If everything you do is open for the public to see, then why didn't you allow the congressmen and women who galvanized outside of the USA building into the building? Why didn't you allow them to do that?
There's a conflict there. It's not like people are going to be shy about saying that. They'll say it immediately. You know?
including you yourself.
Yes, but transparency is what builds trust, not simply somebody asserting trust. So not somebody saying they're trustworthy, but transparency, so you can see everything that's going on. And then you can see, am I doing something that benefits one of my companies or not? It's totally obvious.
And if we thought that, we would not let him do that segment or look in that
Shut up,
area.
Trump.
If
You're
we
not
thought
the
there was a
president.
lack
You're not
of
the president,
transparency or a conflict of interest. And we watched that also. He's a big businessman. He's a successful guy. That's why we want him doing this. We don't want an unsuccessful guy doing this. Now, one thing also that Elon hasn't really mentioned are the groups of people that are getting some of these payments. They're ridiculous. And we're talking about billions of dollars that we've already found. We found fraud and abuse. I would say those two words as opposed to the third word that I usually use. But in this case, fraud
There's a new
and
member alert.
abuse.
Welcome.
It's abusive because most of these things are virtually made up,
Breaking
or
news.
certainly money shouldn't be sent to them. And you know what I'm talking about.
Another
It's
lawsuit.
crazy. So, but we're talking about
Look at Donald Trump's hands.
tens of
and look
billions
at
of
Donald
dollars
Trump's
that
face.
we've already found. And now a judge who's an activist judge wants to try and stop us from doing this. Why? Why would they want to do that? I campaigned on this. I campaigned on the fact that I said government is corrupt.
Araceli
And
says,
it is
show
very
proof.
corrupt. It's very, very, it's also foolish. As an example, a man has a contract for 3 months and the contract ends, but they keep paying him for the next 20 years, you know,
Yeah.
because nobody ends a contract. You got a lot of that. You have a contract that's a 3-month contract. Now, normally, if you're in a small, in all fairness, it's the size of this thing is so big.
Yeah.
But if you have a contract and you're in a regular business, you end the contract in 3 months, you know it's a consultant. Here's a contract for 3 months, but it goes on for 20 years. And the guy doesn't say that he got money for 20 years, you know, they don't say it. They just keep getting checks month after month. And you have various things like that. And even much worse than that, actually, much worse. And I guess you call that incompetence, maybe.
Yeah.
It could be corruption. It could be a deals made on both sides, you know, where the guy gets some money, he kicks. I think there's a lot of kickback here. I see a lot of kickback here,
There's a lot of kickbacks.
tremendous kickback, because nobody could be so stupid to give out some of these contracts. So he has to get a kickback. So
The same
that's what I
kickback
got
Elon is getting.
elected for, that and borders and military and a lot of things, but this is a big part of it. And I hope that the court system is going to allow us to do what we have to do. We got elected to among other things, find all of this fraud, abuse, all of this horrible stuff going on. And we've already found billions of dollars, not like a little bit, billions, many billions of dollars.
Lies.
And when you
Where's
get
the
down to
proof?
it, it's going to be probably close to $1 trillion. It could be
Oh,
close to
that's
$1
a lie.
trillion that we're going to find. That will have quite an impact on the budget.
Yes.
And you'll go to a judge where they handpick a judge and he has certain leanings. I'm not knocking anybody for that, but he has certain leanings. And he wants us to stop looking. How do you stop looking? I mean, we've already found it. We have a case in New York where a hotel has paid $59 million, $59 million because it's housing migrants, illegal migrants, all illegal, I believe.
And they were being paid twice the normal room rate at 100% occupancy.
Unbelievable.
So it's a record.
Yeah.
Mr. Musk, I have asked a question.
Well,
Mr.
If I may,
These reporters that are a part of this, they are failing the American people. You got these two crooks lecturing about the federal government contracting with a hotel, and that hotel is charging double and triple the price, right? That's what they just said, right? Meanwhile, Donald Trump does the same exact thing. The same exact thing. Every time he goes dancing down to Mar-a-Lago with his Secret Service in tow, and that's a huge detail, with the Secret Service in tow, he doesn't provide rooms for them. for free of charge because he's working. He's the president of the United States. Hell no. He bills the government for all of the rooms that they have to stay in, and he charges quadruple the price. Did you hear what I said? Donald Trump does the same exact thing. Whether he's at Mar-a-Lago or Bedminster, when every time he goes down to those areas and he stays for a length of time, he charges the federal government quadruple the price for his Secret Service to stay there. When he goes golfing and they need one of them little golf carts, he charges the federal government for the use of those golf carts. And this mofo has got the nerve to try to call somebody else out.
Hey, sort of just going for the president's comments. At a high level, you say, well, what? How do you?
This stuttering fool here.
What are the two ingredients that are really necessary in order to cut the budget deficit in half from 2 trillion to 1 trillion? And it's really two things: competence and caring.
What?
And if you add competence and caring, you'll cut the budget deficit in half.
They're playing in our face.
And
They are
I fully expect to be
playing in
scrutinized
our
and
face.
get a daily proctology exam, basically. Might as well just camp out there.
Competence and
So
care.
it's not like I think I can get away with something.
Competence and care. Meanwhile, when he cut the USAID funding without a care to the services that USAID was providing to millions of people across the globe. Not one thought, not one care. As a result, that poor little 70-year-old woman died because she could not get her oxygen that was provided to her through USAID. And this mofo is standing in the Oval Office talking about competence and care.
I'll be scrutinized nonstop. But with support of the president, we can cut the budget deficit in half from 2 trillion to 1, and then with deregulation, because there's a lot of sort of regulations that don't ultimately serve the public good. We need to free the builders of America to build, and if we do that, that means I think we can get the economic growth to be maybe 3-4%, maybe 5%. And that means if you can get $1 trillion of economic growth, you cut the budget deficit by $1 trillion.
We didn't vote for this
Between
man.
now and next year, there is no inflation. There's no inflation at 26. And if the government is not borrowing as much, it means that interest costs decline. So everyone's the mortgage, their car payment, their credit card bills, anything, their student debt, the monthly payments drop.
Oh, there
That's
goes
a
the baby
fantastic
digging in
scenario.
his nose.
For the average American. I mean, imagine they're going down the grocery aisle and the prices from one year to the next are the same, and their mortgage, all their debt payments
Oh, is
drop.
that what? That's the moment right there.
How great is that for the average American?
There you go, digging in his nose.
We had
That's
no
what we're
idea. We had no idea we were going to find this much, and it's open. It's not like complicated. It's
It's not that
simple stuff.
complicated.
It's
It's
like
a lot of work.
you
Yeah.
can't believe it. A lot of work. A lot of
Where's
smart
the
people
proof?
involved. Very, very smart people. But you're talking about anywhere maybe $500 billion. It's crazy the kind of numbers you're
It is really
talking
crazy.
about. You know, normally when you're looking at something, you'll find you're looking for 1 out of 100. Here, you're almost reversing it. You look for one that's good,
Yeah.
and you can look at the title, and you say, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And the public gets it. You know, the public gets it. You've seen the polls.
I'm
The
the
public
public.
is
I
saying,
don't
why
get
are we
it.
paying all this money? This for years, this has gone on.
I don't get it.
Yeah, go ahead. Wait, go ahead.
Senator Rand Paul today said that DOJ cuts will ultimately need a vote in Congress. Do you agree with that? Is that the
I
plan?
really don't know. I know this. We're finding tremendous fraud and tremendous abuse. If I need a vote of Congress to find fraud and abuse, it's fine with me. I think we'll get the vote, although there'll be some people that wouldn't vote. And how could a judge want to hold us back from finding all of this fraud and finding all of this incompetence? Why would that happen? Why would even Congress want to do that? Now, Congress, if we do need a vote, I think we'd get a very easy vote because we have a track record now. We've already found billions of dollars of abuse, incompetence, and corruption.
Lies.
A lot of corruption.
If a judge does block one of your policies, part of your agenda, will you abide by that ruling? Will you
Well,
comply?
I
with that
always
order?
abide by the courts, and then I'll have to appeal it. But then what he's done is he slowed down the momentum, and it gives crooked people more time to cover up the books. You know, if a person's crooked and they get caught, other people see that, and all of a sudden it becomes harder later on. So, yeah, the answer is I always abide by the courts, always abide by them, and will appeal. But appeals take a long time, and I would hope that a judge, if you go into a judge and you show him, here's a corrupt situation, we have a check to be sent, but we found it to be corrupt. Do you want us to send this corrupt check to a person, or do you want us not to give it and give it back to the taxpayer? I would hope a judge would say, don't send it, give it back to the taxpayer.
Yeah, if I can add to that.
Listen. I feel like I need to make this distinction. If Elon Musk is finding fraud, then so be it. If he's finding fraud and he can prove that he is finding fraud, then that needs to be corrected, and it needs to be corrected immediately. As taxpayers, we can all agree with that. But that's not what Elon Musk is doing. Elon Musk, let's not forget what he has done. It's not like he went into USAID, met with the leaders of USAID and said, I'm here to do an audit of the books. And can you give me a conference room, set me up with a computer, hook me up with somebody who can help me navigate the system and just let me do my thing. Hey, Zelene. That's not how he did this. He went into these agencies and these departments and he fired people. He fired people at a mass rate, fired these people to weaken these agencies so that these agencies will shut down. That's what Elon Musk did. Listen, where I work, we get audited every year. They come in, they audit our books every year. They don't come in firing people because they need to get into the system and audit the books. What are you talking about, sir? Now, see, this may work. This may work with the MAGA nuts because they don't know no better. They are uneducated individuals. So when they listen to this nonsense, they have not one ability to critically think. But for the rest of us who are educated, who are professionals, who have worked in the business environment, we know how audits work. You don't have to fire hundreds of people to go into these different buildings and agencies to audit the books. That's how you do it when you're trying to do something wrong. Elon Musk going into these different agencies, the Department of Education, USAID, what was the other one? The Treasury, all of these other divisions, FBI, all of this stuff, and firing all of these people, it's to benefit Elon Musk and to protect Elon Musk. It has absolutely nothing with trying to save the American people from fraud. Nothing to do with it. If you are going into that agency to audit it, you go in, you work with the people, you audit the books. It does not require. Why did you feel the need to fire all of these people? Y'all know I'm going to tell you why. Because the firing of all of these people, all these layoffs, trying to force all of these, they tried to force all of these people back into the office, right? And what ended up happening, all of these people started going back into the office. They were hoping that by forcing these people back into the office, those people will quit. They did not quit. And so then they started forcing layoffs, telling people don't show up, and firing people and all of that stuff. All of that is tied to Project 2025. Remember, Project 2025 said that they would be laying off or firing thousands of federal employees. And then the plan was to bring in loyalists to Donald Trump to on like a skeleton crew basis to run the U.S. government. So the firing of the people is tied to the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025. Remember, he put that man in charge of OMB, of the budget office, who is tied to the Heritage Foundation, who is an author of Project 2025. So the firing of the people is tied to Project 2025. And now they're using the going over the books, looking for fraud, looking for corruption, looking for funding or waste funding, and whatever term they want to use. Playing somebody, they playing in our face. Let me hit play. I want to.
What we're finding is actually a bunch of the fraud is not even going to Americans.
Look at this shit.
So I think we can all agree that if there's going to be fraud, it should at least go to Americans. But a bunch of the fraud rings that are operating in the United States and taking advantage of the federal government, especially in the entitlements programs, are actually foreign fraud rings. They're operating in other countries and actually exporting money to other countries. We should stop that.
Proof?
and this is big numbers. We're talking about $100 to $200 billion a year.
Stop lying.
Mr. Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza. But after fact check this, apparently Gaza.
Look at that white nationalist right there.
The program was to protect them against HIV.
The leader, one of
so
the
can
leaders
you correct
of the
the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there.
And
how can we make sure
with
that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you say?
Well, first of all,
let's rewind
some of the
so you
things
can
that I
hear
say
her
will be
question.
incorrect and should be
Let
correct.
me rewind so y'all can hear her question, because I was running my mouth.
Which makes sense. Protect them against. After fact check this, apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV. So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you say?
Legitimate
Well, first of
question,
all,
finally.
some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll.
Wait, did this man just say some of the things that he says will be incorrect? Wait, so you're not going to do your own fact checking before you speak? You're not going to do, you just going to go running off at the mouth. That's what you're going to do. And she's talking about this condoms that they say $50 million in condoms was sent over to Gaza. Come to find out, and he was insinuating that it was Gaza over in, with Hamas and over there with Iran. Okay. Come to find out, that's not where it was sent. It was sent to Gaza over in Mozambique, Africa, where there is an HIV epidemic. Okay? HIV epidemic. And this is one of those things that USAID does. They help other countries around the world, and that builds allyship, right? That builds allyship. And so to help combat this HIV crisis over in Mozambique, am I saying it right? That's what they did. They agreed to send $50 million in worth of condoms over to this area to help combat the HIV epidemic. He led people to believe that these and it's not 50 million. I think it once all the fact checking was done, it was $8 million in condoms that was sent over. So he lied, he inflated the cost, and he lied. He led people to believe it was one area versus another area. And the reason why he did that is because he wants to create animosity and anger towards Hamas in support of their new friend, Bibi Netanyahu, so that they can validate cleaning out Gaza. This is how all of these dots are connected. And this mofo is standing in this Oval Office and saying to us that, yeah, he's going to say things that's not true. He's going to say things that's not true. Why, sir? Why? Why? There is no need to say things that are not true. The reason why you're saying things that are not true is because you have ulterior motives, number one. And number two, you don't have people around you. You didn't think beyond the wrecking ball. You didn't think beyond that because you're working under ulterior motives. You're not working in the best interest of the United States of America and its people. Let me rewind it.
That I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes.
He has yet to act quickly to correct
I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere, frankly. I'm not sure that's something Americans would be really excited about. And that is really an enormous number of condoms, if you think about it. But if it went to Mozambique instead of Gaza, I'm like, okay, that's not as bad, but still, why are we doing that?
I just explain
Can you talk
why
about
they're
how
doing it.
closely you're working with agency heads as you're directing these cuts? Do they have how much input do agency heads have when you're making these decisions?
Yeah, we work
My
closely with
blood
agency
pressure high
heads.
listening to this.
And
See, this is why we needed to watch this together.
there are sort of checks in place. So it's not just us just going in and doing things willy-nilly. It's in partnership with the agency heads, and I check frequently with the president to make sure that this is what the president wants to have happen. So we talk almost every day, and I double check things to make sure, is this something?
Who you lying?
Mr. President, you want us to do this?
You double check things. You wouldn't have put out no lies.
USAID has been one of your main targets. Are you concerned at all that some of the cuts or that shutting that agency altogether may lead to diseases or other bigger problems starting in other countries that then come to the United States? Yeah, so that's an interesting example. So that's something where we work closely with the State Department and Secretary Rubio. And we have, for example, turned on funding for Ebola prevention and for HIV prevention. Yes, correct. And we are moving fast, so we will make mistakes, but we'll also fix the mistakes very quickly. So,
do you see it as a worthy cause, USAID?
I think that there's some worthy things, but overall, if you say what was the bang for the buck, I would say it was not very good. And there was far too much of what USAID was doing was influencing elections in ways that I think were dubious and do not stand the light of day.
I can just ask a follow-up to the Pentagon contracts. If you had received billions of dollars in contracts from the Pentagon, and the president's directing you to look into the Department of Defense, is that a conflict of interest?
Are going to do at the president's request.
Does that present a conflict of interest for you?
No, because you'd have to look at the individual contract and say, first of all, I'm not the one, filing the contract. It's people at SpaceX or someone who will be putting for the contract. And I'd like to say, if you see any contract where where it was awarded to SpaceX and it wasn't by far the best value for money for the taxpayer, let me know, because every one of them was.
The president said the other day that you might look at treasuries. Could you explain that a little bit? What kind of fraud, and that question goes to both of you, what kind of fraud are you expecting to see or do you see right now in U.S. treasuries?
Yeah, I think you mean the Treasury Department as opposed to Treasury bills, or.
You also referenced treasuries on Air Force One the other night.
Go ahead.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, really the first order of business is to make sure we're actually collecting. Sorry for this. I thought my son might enjoy this, but he's sticking his fingers in my ears and stuff. So it's a bit hard to hear sometimes. Hey, stop that. The stuff we're doing with the Treasury Department is so basic that you can't believe it doesn't exist already. So for example, like I mentioned, just making sure that when a payment goes out, it has to have a payment categorization code. It's like, what type of payment is this? You can't just leave the field blank. Currently, many payments, the field is left blank. And you have to describe what's the payment for, some basic rationalization. That also is left blank. So this is why, the Pentagon, when's the last time the Pentagon passed an audit? I mean, a decade ago, maybe? Ever? Really? And we want to just, in order to actually pass audits, you have to have financial information that allows you to trace the payments. And once in a while, the Treasury has to pause payments.
This is ridiculous.
If it thinks the payment is going to a fraudulent organization. If a company or organization is on a do not pay list, we should not pay it. I'm sure you would agree. It's like if it's quite hard to get on that payment, the do not pay list, it means that this is someone that is like dead people, terrorists.
Exactly, Gwyneth.
Known
You're
fraudsters.
focused on the fidgety kid and
that
not
kind of
really
thing.
what's coming
We should
out
not
of
pay
his
them.
mouth.
But currently we do, which is crazy. We should stop that.
Many,
heard
and by the
nothing
way,
you said.
hundreds,
Nothing you
thousands
said
of
made
transactions
sense to me.
like that. We have a big team. And for the sake of the country, I hope that the person that's in charge and the other people that report to me that are in charge are allowed to do the right thing,
Of course
namely
we're trying to babysit.
make sure everything's honest, legitimate, and competent. But we're looking at just, when you look at USAID, that's one. We're going to look at the military. We're going to look at education. They're much bigger areas. But the USAID is really corrupt. I'll tell you, it's corrupt. It's incompetent, and it's really corrupt. And I can't imagine a judge saying, well, it may be corrupt, but you don't have the right. You got elected to look over the country and to, as we say, make America great again, but you don't have the right to go and look and see whether or not things are right that they're paying or that things are honest that they're paying. And nobody can even believe this. Other people, law professors, they've been saying, how can you take that person's right away? You're supposed to be running the country, but we're not allowed to look at who they're paying it to and what they're paying. We have massive amounts of fraud that we caught. I think we probably caught way over a lot of billions of dollars already in 2 weeks?
Yes.
And it's going to go to numbers that you're not going to believe. And much, as I said, much is incompetence and much is dishonesty. We have to catch it. And the only way we're going to catch it is to look for it. And if a judge is going to say you're not allowed to look for it, that's pretty sad for our country. I don't understand how it could even work.
The buyout program, can you personally guarantee that?
Which one?
The buyout program, the offer to federal workers. Can you personally guarantee that the workers who opt in to resign now will be paid through
Well, they'll get
September?
their money, but they're getting a good deal. They're getting a big buyout. And what we're trying to do is reduce government. We have too many people. We have office space. It's occupied by 4%. Nobody's showing up to work because they were told not to. And then Biden gave them a 5-year pass, some of them, 48,000 of them, gave them a 5-year pass that for 5 years, you don't have to show up to work. And let me tell you, this is largely much of the.
That's a lie. That's a lie. I've been watching federal workers talk about this situation. That's a lie. The reason why Joe Biden extended that work from home for another 5 years is because they don't have enough office space to accommodate all of their federal employees. And being that they made this order for all of these people to now get back to the office, they've got people working in the building, and not everyone has a place to sit. You got people making up spaces in janitors' closets. They're sitting in lobbies trying to work. This man has no clue. The reason why, and I'm going to say it again, I said it before, they thought all of those people would just quit, making it easier for them to implement their Project 2025. And those people were like, and if I don't understand how anybody would trust this man that you'll get paid through September. Where is that money coming from? He is not, he doesn't have control of the purse. Congress has control of the purse. So how is he guaranteeing that these people will get paid this money? What legislation was passed? Has the House brought forth legislation to offer this plan to federal employees? A lot of people agree to it. Where is the money coming from? How can you agree? You don't know how government works yet, and you're working for the federal government? Where is this money coming from? Where is the budget? The line item in the budget? He is a separate branch of government. There's 3 separate branches of government that makes up the federal government. There's the executive branch, which is him. There is Congress, which makes up the bills, the policies, the legislation. And there's the Supreme Court. The bills, the policies, the legislation is tied to the budget. He has no control over that. No control over that. So when he tells you if you take this offer and you'll be paid through September, and you didn't ask, where's the money coming from? Because I haven't, in all that I've seen with what's been going on in Congress, I ain't seen not one piece of legislation come through yet regarding this plan and where this money, how they were going to pay for this. That's Congress' job. Elon does not control the purse. He does not. He controls his own purse. That's why all of these things that they have tried to do, all of these executive orders to cut this, to cut that, that's why it's all tied up in court now. He doesn't have the power to just cut these programs or that program or eliminate this and eliminate that. He can say it. That doesn't make it so.
This stuff is because of Biden. It's his fault. He allowed this country, what he did on our border. What he did on our border is almost not as bad as what he did with all of these contracts that have come
Who's
out.
not following the rules?
It's a very sad day when we look at it. I can't even believe it.
Who's
But many
not
contracts
following the
just
rules?
extend and they just keep extending, and there was nobody there to correct it. And that cannot be, I can't imagine that could be held up by the court. Any court that would say that the president or his representatives, like Secretary of the Treasury, Secretary of State, whatever, doesn't have the right to go over their books and make sure everything's honest. I mean, how can you have a country? You can't have anything that way. You can't have a business that way. You can't have a country that way. Hey, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you,
Coming back tonight. Mark Vogel will be at the White House tonight at about 10 o'clock. If you want to come over, you can say hello to him.
Did you guys get anything in return?
Not much. No, they were very nice. We were treated very nicely by Russia, actually. I hope that's the beginning of a relationship where we can end that war and millions of people can stop being killed. They've lost millions of people. They lost, in terms of soldiers, probably 1.5 million soldiers in a short period of time. We got to stop that war. And I'm interested primarily from the standpoint of death. We're losing all those soldiers. And they're not American soldiers, they're Ukrainian and Russian soldiers. But you're probably talking about 1.5 million. I think we got to bring that one to an end. Okay?
Aaron Gilchrist is live for us at the White House. Aaron, what was so interesting to watch?
That was a bunch of crazy. I'm exhausted. I don't know about y'all. I'm exhausted. But I had to hear this and watch it with my own two eyes and with my own two ears. And yeah. That was a bunch of crazy. And with all that they said that they found, they offered not one iota of proof, and not one of those reporters said, well, can you provide us with the proof? Where can we pick up the proof for what you're saying? Do you have spreadsheets? Where's the proof? Not one of them asked for proof. That one lady held Elon Musk to account regarding the damn condoms. Somebody said, trust me, bro. Meryl, BEW, she's got some statistics in here. Total casualties, 80,000 killed, 400,000 wounded. As of February 24, 2022, before September 2024, Wall Street Journal, citing confidential Ukrainian estimate, 57,500 plus killed and 250,000 wounded. So Mary is offering some statistics to prove that Donald Trump is lying. Y'all notice when he's ever talking about numbers, it's hundreds of millions this, it's billions and billions that. I can't stand him. Hey, Diamond Pearl. I can't stand him. I hate that man. I hate Elon Musk. And I need for you all to understand how Black people don't use the word hate often. Black people are raised with our parents telling us that hate is basically a nasty word. It is a strong word, and you really should not use it. That's how we are raised. That is a part of our upbringing. We are raised to look for the good in people. We are raised to be a forgiving people. In 2025, it started in 2024. In 2025, a lot of that shit has been going out of the window. Black people are not the forgiving people anymore. I know I'm not. I know I'm not. And my mom, I can tell you for sure, I was raised to not use the word hate. I was raised to not use the word hate. When I went home during the Christmas holiday, me and my mama were talking about Donald Trump, and we both said it at the same time. We were looking at the news, and his face came on talking this nonsense. And me and my mama started it. And I chimed in, and at the same time, we were like, oh, I hate this man. Now, my mom's not a grudge holder. I am. I'm a grudge holder. My mama is not a grudge holder. With that said, that's it. That's all. That was the press conference. Now the videos out there, I'm probably gonna find one and I'll do a video. So y'all, because they match up the baby's words. He's either telling Donald Trump to shush his effing mouth, or I saw another one where he was shushing Donald Trump and told him he was not the president. It's one or the other. You know, they zoomed into the baby's mouth and they dissected what it was that he was saying as he was digging in his nose and wiping his boogers all over the Resolute desk. I'm trying to find my way back, y'all. I really am. I'm having a hard time because I am angry. I am angry that we are now living this life because we didn't have to. I am angry. I am still full of, I told you so. I am still full of that. F around and find out. I'm still there and I haven't moved past that yet. I am very angry. Very, very angry. And a lot of what is coming to pass, I've already talked about ad nauseum. Kamala told us it does not have to be this way. Now you got Republicans because, like I said, you got the Republicans, got the House, the majority in the House, in the Senate. They've got the presidency and they've got the Supreme Court. And people are calling the Democrats weak. And I'm like, what do you want them to do? Somebody said, I want them to be just as obstructionist as the Republicans were. Okay. I could get with that. I don't understand why any of them are approving these people. They're going to get through regardless. So why are you going on the record in support of these people that Donald Trump nominated that you know are not good for the government? But it's like I said, I believe Nancy Pelosi is still pulling the fucking strings. People don't want the Democrats in the House to work in bipartisanship. I get it. But I think the Democrats are still trying to get things done for the American people. They are still trying to work to get things done for the American people. And they just aren't where we are. And where we are is, stop wasting your fucking time. They are not trying to work with you. You talking about trying to work with them, it ain't doing nothing but pissing us off, because we see that they're not trying to work with you, and you trying to work with them is not making you look like the bigger person. It's making you look like weak people. And I just don't think Hakeem Jeffries is the one that we need for the moment that we are in. Is the brother smart? Yes. Is it his turn? Yes. Yes. Does he have the temperament to deal with these fuckers, these MAGA nuts? No. No. You know who does? Jasmine Crockett, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They've got the temperament to deal with them fucking MAGA nuts. It's time for the old guard to move on. It's time for them to move on. They have no clue how to fight these MAGA nuts. That bipartisanship is out the fucking window. They're not trying to work with you. And what they agree to behind closed doors, they will come out in front of the cameras and throw the Democrats under the bus. You remember what Kevin McCarthy did? He made a deal. He made a deal with the Democrats behind closed doors. It was regarding one of those deals to stop the government from shutting down. And then once he got what he wanted, he came out in front and dogged them out. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? These are the people that you are working with. Hakeem Jeffries does press conferences every week. They have this need to be viewed as the ones that are trying to work together. That day and time is over. That persona, that look of working together worked during the Reagan years. Once Obama got into office, all of that shit was out of the window. And Nancy Pelosi, James Clyburn, Chuck Schumer, even Auntie Maxine. Auntie Maxine gotta go. Now, Auntie Maxine, she might be able to hang around because Auntie Maxine got that fighting spirit in her. Auntie Maxine ain't with the dumb ish. She really isn't. So Auntie Maxine might be able to hang around. But the James Clyburn, remember James Clyburn asked Joe Biden to pardon Donald Trump. What? James Clyburn gotta go. Nancy Pelosi gotta go. Chuck Schumer has got to go. Katie Porter would have been monumental in this moment, but Katie Porter fucked up. I don't know what Katie Porter was thinking. Katie Porter wasn't looking at the picture as a whole. Yeah, she wanted to move on over to the Senate, but girl, if I saw what was happening, how did you not see what was happening? In order for Katie Porter to run for that Senate seat, she had to resign from her House seat. And then Katie Porter was running for that Senate seat against Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff, who Nancy Pelosi wanted in that seat. Katie Porter, why didn't you look at that? For as smart as you are, you didn't pull out your whiteboard to weigh the odds? Girl, I knew she wasn't going to get that Senate seat. I knew she would. How did she not know she wasn't going to get that? Katie Porter is loved. Adam Schiff is more loved, and he had the backing of Nancy Pelosi. I'm kind of mad with Katie Porter over that. For as smart as she is, how did she not fucking see that? And so we lost Katie Porter because she had to resign that House seat in order to run against Adam Schiff for that Senate seat. Anywho, y'all, thank y'all for hanging out with me and watching this with me. I don't feel like I don't know. Is Katie Porter done? Any people in the chat from her district? Y'all hear what Katie Porter is up to? I'm so mad with her. We needed Katie Porter in the house. Now, before I go out, let me tell y'all, any Floridians in the house? Do I have any Floridians in the house? Sound off in the chat if you are a Floridian in the house. Okay, I got some Floridians in the house. Okay, listen. I need for y'all to stay abreast regarding those 2 House seats down in Florida. Matt Gaetz's district. Is it 2 House seats or it's 2 House seats, right? One is, and then there's Marco Rubio's seat, right? Somebody down in Florida, it's 2 House seats and then Marco Rubio's seat in the Senate, right? Correct. Okay, okay. So it's 2 House seats. I know one of those House seats is Matt Gaetz. And then there's the Senate seat, which was Marco Rubio's seat. If we can get those 2 House seats, if we can get Democrats in those 2 House seats, we can flip the House. We can snatch the slim majority back to the Democrats. The problem is those 2 areas are heavily Republican. Let your people know. Stay abreast on, I don't know when the voting date is. When is the vote day, y'all? I got a bunch of people from Florida in the chat. When's the vote date? Okay, somebody said no, Katie Porter is not done. Thank you for letting me know. When's the vote date? When is election day down in Florida? 4/1, April 1st is the vote day down in Florida. Get y'all asses to the voting booths. I don't know who the Democrats are that are running for those seats. I don't know. I follow this content creator by the name of Kyle PhD. I'll find his link and I'll put it in the description box of this video, and I'll share it out on Threads and on Blue Sky. Follow him. He is keeping people abreast of what is happening with those 2 seats. He is promoting the candidates, the Democrat candidate for those 2 seats. Let your people know. Drag they asses to the voting booths on April 1st. We have an opportunity to flip those seats. And then the next Voting day is the midterms. I got to get myself together so that I can get focused on what those fools are doing, because y'all know that's what I do. I focus on what's going on in the Congress, and I focus on who's running where, so I can keep y'all abreast of what's going on, so that when you get into the voting booth, you know who and what you're voting for. But just like the past several elections, it's Democrat. It's Democrat, not third party, not Green Party. It's Democrat. It's Democrat. It's Democrat. Who is this in David Penn? You may respect me, but I don't expect this type of speak down in my comment section. Have a good day, sir. Have a good day. That both sides shit, hell no. Don't get in my comment section with that both sides shit. Don't get in my comment section telling me this party is like this party and neither one of these parties are going to do anything for us, when for the past decade we have not given the Democrats what it is that they need to do what we want them to do. Don't do it. Don't do it. You got Democrats talking about fighting to save Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security for the American people. And you got the Republicans galvanizing to pass legislation to kick millions of people off of Medicare and Medicaid. Don't fucking get down in my comment section and tell me that they are the fucking same. Don't insinuate it. Don't even hint at it. I will block you. Period. Don't fucking do it. Do not fucking do it. And don't try to sugarcoat what it is that you fucking trying to say to me. I respect you. I love what you bring. Don't do that shit. You playing in my face. Don't fucking do it. I'm not the one. Don't tell me that both parties are the same, that neither one of them will do anything. Y'all, let me go. Let me go. Let me go. I'm angry. I'm angry because it's people like that. That's the reason why we're here. Because people like that run all over social media with their both sides bullshit and discourage other people from voting for Democrats. They both the same. Fuck you. Fuck you. And you will not get down into my comment section saying anything that will discourage people from voting. And that's on period. I love y'all. Thank y'all. Welcome to all the new members. If you're down in the comment section and you are not subscribed to my channel, we are still on the road to 500,000. We are halfway there. We are halfway there. So if you are not subscribed to the channel, this is what you get, baby. I'm not changing for anybody. This is what you get. This is what you get. Subscribe to the channel. I come in and I speak my truth. I provide y'all with what's really going on. I provide y'all with receipts, with the facts, so you can go and double check me. If you need to correct me and point me in the direction of a source, fine. But I'm going to give you sources. I'm going to give you receipts on everything that I bring to the table. Basically, what I do is call out the bullshit of what's going on in Congress. If I need to call out a Democrat, I will. I've done it. But it just so happens that we're dealing with fucked up individuals on the right. They get more of my attention because of what they're doing to the American people. You want to support me? Become a member. When you become a member, you are supporting me and this channel. Share my videos. I appreciate y'all. I need a drink. I think I need a midday. I don't do a lot of drinking, but yeah, I might need a little sip. I got a little sip down there at the bar down there. I might need a little sip today. Or I need to double up on my anxiety medication. My anxiety medication, because yeah. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. I'll see y'all in the next one. Lord help us.